Hello everyone, welcome back to the Doomlands. In this clip, I am leveling up a farmer villager to solve my food problem. So now I can get golden carrots, which is a much better food source than bread. And here I will show you the librarian that I have been leveling up to get mending enchantments. And it also sells Frostwalker too. Not bad. This villager I've been trading string with to get emeralds, and I also trade rotten flesh from what's happening there. It is so nice to be fully enchanted and have a reliable source of food. I no longer have to eat bread like a peasant, and I can actually survive while in the caves. It is a lot easier now to get materials and resources, and I can finally do all of the builds that I've wanted to do, such as taking down the sand dunes from the first village, and here I will show you my enchantments that I got. So as you can see, I got a god helmet right away, and then I put mending on it, and I got protection 4, unbreaking 3, and I got a really good pair of boots, but I had to combine them, and I eventually got a very good bow and decent sword and some good pickaxes and other tools. But still need to get Fortune 3 on the axe, but I ended up making a ton more axes, so as long as I get efficiency and unbreaking on my tools, I'm happy. And here's a better look at the 2 cats that we tamed previously. I still need names. I'm thinking of calling one Marble and one Snow, but let me know if you have any suggestions. And now I can finally get rid of all of those sand, and you can see our fully labeled storage, which is super handy. Everything is completely organized. We've got our stone, our wood, and yeah. And here is where I've been making some bone meal, which I used to make the wheat field in the previous episode and to grow some trees and stuff like that. And over here I put my deep slate coal on display because it is quite rare, and it's just a nice trophy, a memento of our mining expedition that we did. And up here is a little shrine to the stone diamond that I found. There was only one, but that's okay because we got tons of other diamonds, and I will get loads more during this episode. There's nothing else upstairs, but maybe I'll put some armor stands or item frames, maybe a map of our base, something like that. Our starter windmill is looking very nice, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. But now that we are fully kitted out with enchanted diamond gear and a good shovel, this means I can actually do what I've been saying I would for a very long time and get rid of all of the sand from that starter village. So enjoy this time lapse, and let's go. for the time lapse. I hope you enjoyed it. I tried to do some terraforming as well to make the beach shoreline look a bit more natural, and added some rocks, some sand dunes, or like something on the beach so that it wasn't completely flat. I think I will be using this landscape to make a tree farming area, and now let's get to that. Oh no, looks like we have some visitors investigating our terraforming progress. Terribly sorry, but management isn't welcome today. Time to get rid of the inspiration. Now that the pillagers are taken care of, we can start building. There have been quite a few patrols lately, which is quite annoying, but oh well. Soon enough, the island will be covered with torches and walls. But I am starting off with a simple tree farming area, not a technical one, just a manual tree farming place, more of a fence if anything. But I am using some deep slate and some spruce fences and gates to make this perimeter wall so that I could be safe from pillagers and other mobs. As you can see, I am making it in 5 long sections, and it's I think like 4 times 5 blocks, and that should be enough room to grow the different tree types. So far I have spruce wood, dark oak, oak wood, birch, and cherry. I also have mangrove, but that's a bit more tedious to chop down, so I might have to do that somewhere else. And I do need to make a space to grow bamboo as well as to grow jungle trees when I eventually get them, and any other tree types that I am forgetting, let me know in the comments, although I think that's pretty much everything. So yeah, I'm just making these different sections, and I will make some paths and some nice little details. Not really sure what exact style I'm going for, just a very random style that I came up with on the spot. But I will now cut to the finished product. Well, here it is, the finished product, and you can see some pillagers in the corner, which is why I made this fence to safely chop down trees so that no mobs can get me, and it's looking pretty good if I do say so myself. We've got a kind of diagonal, awkward shape going on, but at least it's unique, and I threw in some fences and stairs to make it a bit more interesting. It's a view in front of the tree farming area. I made a path to link it up to the base, and I will texture the path later on, but you could see that we made like a little fence and deep slate wall, and I used some dark oak which went really nicely with the deep slate and the spruce. I chopped down some cherry trees from the village and brought the saplings over to the orchard so that I can grow them here instead of the village, because I will be completely transforming that village soon. In between building the wall, I was chopping down trees manually, but then I decided that I wanted to make a dispenser machine using a redstone clock in order to automatically grow the trees, because the trees were growing very slowly and it was taking a long time to gather the wood. So I will show you how this machine works, and of course how I got the bone meal as well, which was quite the adventure. But as you could see, all I have to do is hold the saplings in my offhand, and this works for any tree type, even spruce, although you can only grow them in singular trees, not in the big 2x2 formation. But it is very fast, and I get tons of wood this way, and I'm sure I could even hook it up to some kind of storage collection system, maybe even use TNT in the future. but for now this is my preferred method of chopping down trees. Of course, making the redstone was easy enough. I had enough redstone, but I needed to get all of those bone blocks. And the easiest way to get bone blocks without a bone meal farm, because I don't have a skeleton spawner yet, is to go to the Nether and to simply harvest them, because there's tons of fossils in the Nether. So now I will show you the clip where I explored the Nether properly for the first time in order to get some resources like bone blocks. Here I am doing some piglin trading in order to get some potions and some more ender pearls, because I managed to get a few from the villager, but not enough for going to the stronghold. And you can use piglin trading to get all of those things and more. So eventually we will be making a piglin bartering farm. I chopped down some warped wood to make a little house for the piglin. This was much safer because ghasts can be very annoying, and as you can see, we got some fire potions and a few books and other things, and it's also a pretty good source of leather as well. Unfortunately, I was not getting very good trades for the piglin, so I decided it was a better idea to trap some endermen in some boats, which was kind of scary, but it worked. And there were quite a few in this little area, so I was able to get actually tons of ender pearls because I had looting 3 on my sword. And there were 2 in this boat as well, so it was easy pickings. And there you go, I got over a stack of ender pearls, which will be very useful to find a stronghold. After a long time of bridging over lava, I finally managed to find what I was looking for, a soul sand valley biome, and lo and behold, there are plenty of bone blocks here for the taking. I probably should have used a strider, but I forgot to bring a saddle with me, so that was out of the question. But bone blocks are very good because I could not find a skeleton spawner and I have not made a mob farm yet, so it's a great source of bone meal in the early game. As I was making my way back to home, back to my original portal, look what I saw in the corner of my eye while I was fighting this ghast. That's right, there's a couple of blazes, and ignore my terrible aim, I'm missing every single shot, and I finally gave up. But where blazes are, that indicates that there is a fortress, and the keen-eyed of you might see it poking up just above this hill. I apologize for the low visibility. I'm not using any shaders. Finally was able to get rid of that ghast. That was long enough, but yeah, there you go. We finally actually have a Nether Fortress. I was hoping to find one, but I usually have very bad luck with these things. So let's go and explore it, and hopefully we can find some good loot and some nether wart and a blaze spawner. As I was exploring the tunnels and putting these barriers to stop wither skeletons from walking below them, I was pleasantly surprised to find a blaze spawner. It's a bit far away from our portal, but I made another portal, and eventually I was able to find that it's pretty close to our base. It's in the same ocean by our starter island, so this is actually a perfect spot. And I made a very quick and dirty blaze farm, not much of a farm, just some slabs to stop the blazes from getting to me. I put some slabs down, and good thing I did, because I almost got ambushed by a wither skeleton, who was lurking and waiting there for me, but thankfully I've got a pretty good bow, so he was quite easy to deal with. But no wither skeleton head, and because I have some fire potions from the piglin trading, it's quite easy to deal with these blazes, though you have to be careful because they can do melee damage up close, and I would highly recommend bringing looting 3 because I got very good RNG and I got tons of blaze rods, but of course your luck may vary. Now, I didn't have to do this extra step, but I wanted to make it easier to kill blazes in the future in case I need them because they're a very good source of fuel and experience points. So I took out some more blazes that I would never have to come back here again, of course unless I wanted fuel. And then I just dug out this room and made it slightly easier to use in the future. I then made a portal in the hopes of it being near my base so that I would have easy access to the blaze spawner. However, such was not my fate because it was in a completely random location, but it is quite an interesting biome and I might build it in the future. And I also found a very cool mob, which was a skeleton wearing full diamond armor. I don't know what's with my luck this series. I found the occasional mob before, but I've never found 2 mobs completely covered in diamonds. As you can see, this is not where our home base is, but it would have made a pretty cool base if I had found it first. We've got lots of forest and this cool cherry grove biome, which is like kind of rectangular. But yeah, it's quite far away from our base. So unfortunately, that might have to wait until I get an elytra. As I was mining my way back down, lo and behold, there is another diamond mob. I was not expecting that. I seem to be getting really difficult mobs these days, but I definitely wanted to keep it safe because that is very rare to have not 1, but 2 mobs in full diamond armor. It almost felt like seeing another player, as if someone had hacked into my world, or this was on a server, but it was just a skeleton in diamond. So I managed to cover it up even though it kept shooting me and I kept getting attacked by other mobs. I know there were a lot of trees, so I probably could have just left it under the cover of the trees, but I didn't want to take any chances whatsoever. I will definitely be using this mob and maybe even the zombie that we got in the mob farm for some kind of build. Back into the Nether, and I decided that I wanted to explore it. There's me getting a little bit excited because that means we found the place in the fortress where you can find loot chests, and also you could find nether wart, which is very important for making potions. So now I have blaze rods, ender pearls, and nether wart. So I've got all the ingredients to go to the stronghold. And hopefully I could find an armor trim in some of the loot chests, but the loot was pretty pants. Nothing special, though I did find a saddle, but I was really hoping for some armor trims because you can find some rare ones in the stronghold. But as you can see, I just found some horse armor and stuff like that. Nothing too special. Here I found a saddle and some more gold, which was pretty much the most exciting loot that I got. This fortress was a bit of a letdown, but at least a saddle would be useful for some horses, and it certainly would have helped me explore the Nether to get a strider, which maybe I can do in the future. I am back in the overworld, and I am chopping down some cherry trees, and as you can see, I've already been busy, but this dispenser machine is very good at speeding up the process of planting the trees. And as you can see, I got tons of cherry wood, and we've got lots of stacks of bone blocks, and I have been harvesting the leaves to get the saplings back. I will also make a sawmill with the water wheel as if it's powering the sawmill from the ocean coastline. Well, I might make it in the lake at the island or something, but I had an idea that I could dump all of the logs and wood into a water stream that takes it to the sawmill, because it's a lot easier than going back and forth to my storage chest room, and also I am running out of room to store wood because I don't have too many chests in there, but I might make a sawmill to act as a storage facility for all of the wood. And now I am just trying to gather some saplings for oak and birch to show you how it works for these trees, which is more or less the same as for the cherry trees. You basically just put the saplings in your offhand and flick the lever and then go to town. Of course, you have to make sure that there is enough bone meal in the machine, but you can see that it works for oak as well, and it's pretty good. It's quite a reliable way to grow trees. Been doing a lot of mining of wood, and as you can see, I've got tons and tons of wood, but this project took a very long time. In fact, it took all week to accomplish, and I have had to gather way more wood than I ever thought I would need. So I'm very glad that I made this tree farm, because it required all of this wood and more in order to make the walls. Here I am making the walls in this kind of stripy pattern, almost like a teeter style wall, and I am stripping them in this clip. But I did also make a storage collection device hooked up to some hoppers and a barrel to make it a lot easier. Although I will try to make some depth in this next clip. I figured out a way to make this wall, and I decided to go with this kind of zigzag pattern for some depth. Well, that took a lot of block placing and stripping, but I finally managed to make a lot of progress on the wall, and here is the grand reveal. As you can see, the wall is a lot bigger than I planned, and it gives us a lot more room, but it's still quite flat, so I wanted to add some watchtowers and turrets, windows and all of those things, just to give it some more detail and interest, and also it'll be useful for defense. And I had an idea to fill out the other areas of the island with things like a castle, a church, a barn, and a quarry. So now I shall show you a time lapse of the rest of the building process. Enjoy. Well, I hope you liked the time-lapse and the grand reveal. It was very fun to make. But that is all the time we have for today's episode. I'm very pleased with how this turned out, however. I went with a bit of a teeter style and fantasy style with the crimson roof, which I got from the Nether. and I will definitely be doing some terraforming and taking down the vanilla houses. But thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to leave a like and share the video and subscribe if you're new, and let me know how I can improve. Thanks so much for watching, and here's the clip of me finding some ancient debris.